Greetings, my name's Cryfan and welcome to my squad leading guide part 1. So, you want to become a better squad leader or actually start squad leading and clicked on this video. First of all, thank you. Secondly, this will not be an entirely beginner friendly SL training video. There are enough videos that will cover the basics like placing markers or assigning fire team leads. And I will be linking some videos below. So, what is this video about, I can hear you asking? Essentially, I will start with the actual leading of players in squad and how to become an effective force. Before we start, I expect you to have a minimum of 50 to 100 hours in squad. You should know the basics of each class and their strengths and weaknesses, so you may effectively deploy your troops. But enough of all these prepositions, let's get started. What do squad leaders do? And what is expected of them? Well, leading a squad, duh.
What the hell are you two doing?
But honestly, it really depends. A fundamental task, though, is the passing and filtering of information. What does this mean? Not everything anyone says in squad is information you need to pass on.
SL, I need repairs now. I'm never going to be able to get to a good firing position if I don't get repairs now. I need them, please.
Oh God! Enemy contact over there! Over fucking there! He's in the fucking trees, man! He's in the fucking trees! Oh!
Boys. What the hell do you mean? Which trees? Which direction?
Behind that tree over there! Holy shit, there's more guys with guns! Oh!
Boys. God damn it. We're in the fucking forest. Do I look like I know what you fucking mean? Are you stupid or something?
Oh shit, man. I didn't know where that guy was, man. I guess I'm an idiot.
Fuck me sideways and call me Sally.
Enemy tank is pushing across the bridge at train station from north to south.
As an SL, you might, depending on the server quality and players, be bombarded with information. Even if all the information is good, you need to manage the flow of information. Not every call out may be relevant to your squad or command. Sure, it's great that your marksman is calling out local contact, but if your command knows that the enemy is flowing in from that direction, there isn't much sense in spamming that information into command channels. The key to winning games is making informed decisions, and information only flows through communication. So at its core, communication is key. It can be a great tool, but if used wrong, can be a hindrance. So I'll introduce an acronym that will assist you in many regards. This will be the foundation we will build upon regarding everything. SMEx, or SMAL, whatever works better for you. Situation, mission, and execution or action. This is what it's all about. In every situation, you should constantly be thinking about this acronym, but let's break it down first. Situation. This describes the entire situation of your team regarding all matters. So things like failing attacks, ambushes happening, successful defenses, having armor superiority, essentially all larger scale things that are affecting your team and thus, in extension, your squad. Mission. This is what your squad should ideally be doing according to the situation. So if the attack is failing, your mission might be to establish a new attack angle, or if your team is being ambushed, to clear out that threat. Missions should be addressing issues you see in your team's current situation, and when in doubt, your team needs more information. Intel is vital in squad. Execution/action. Here you address how you want to achieve your mission's goal. If the mission is the what, then actions are the how. Here you define what you expect from your squad and tell them what should be done. This most certainly does not mean you should be micromanaging your squad, but to convey your intentions. But how does this all come together and possibly sound like? Here's just a short example and an explanation on my choices and what's important. Our current defense is failing and we lost our hab. This is your current situation broken down to the bare minimum of what your squad needs to know. Keep it nice, short and simple, because this is just giving your squad context to your decision. Our mission is to support defense and get a new hab up. Once again, you want to keep it short and easy to grasp. Your squaddies should be able to make their own smaller decisions on how to get the mission done, because oftentimes situations change fast and your guys need to adapt quickly, but they know what the general goal is. This will keep them focused and active. We spawn main, grab a logi and head towards my marker. Once we stop, I want Bravo to move north and then east to support the defense. Charlie will stay with me and we'll build the hab. Medic John, I want you to move the logi south and hide it once the radio is placed. Here you can see it can be a bit longer, but please don't make it a 10-minute long speech. Keep it as short as possible, but as long as needed. Your action plan is the one to go bottom ups first and usually pretty fast. So don't stress over this too much and don't overplan things. Keep it essential and basic. The more complex you make your execution/action plans, the more can go wrong, and trust me, it will go wrong. Why is this acronym and its application so vital? It does a lot of things. If you are taking leading seriously, it's in your best interest to understand what is happening around you and responding appropriately to what's happening. If you don't open the map and assess what's happening, you might just be ramming your head against a concrete wall over and over and over again, and then you wonder why your team is losing. If you were to go through this acronym every time you open the map, you learn to read troop movements, reading the flow of battle, and understanding how random players react to certain situations. You will start to assess your choices better. Did I make the right choice to attack while we were losing our defense hab? Or did me ignoring enemy ambush and just pushing a pure defense lead to us having no ammo and no logis? My suggestion here is to jump into a squad, not as an SL, and then to do these steps in your head and try to formulate short sentences to get some sort of training down and also put your choices your SL made into perspective. You may think, situation, we are pushing fast and not building up any defense. Mission, we should build up fallback habs. Execution, go main, grab logi, move here, build a hab for defense on X. But your SL, for example, decided to push more and overextend into enemy territory. Does this choice result in you maybe pushing the enemy further back and leading to winning the game? Or was it the turning point where your team got steamrolled back to main because your team had no way to spawn? Something to keep in mind here is that there is no right way, only options and choices to be made, and the knowledge after the fact if your choices were effective or ineffective. Also, there are objectively speaking wrong choices. Back on topic. Formulating these plans also really helps your squad. How often did you hear an SL say, move here, attack this point, defend here? No context, no nothing. Sure, you might listen to him initially, but after a while you question his choice, because you don't understand what the hell are you doing anyway. Now, putting SMEx small into action, you're giving your squad context to things. Not all players can read a map and understand what is going on. Maybe you're also getting information from other SLs or command that your squad can't hear. With situation, you are giving them all the information they need to understand as to why you choose to do what you did. So circling back to the bad examples, maybe he wanted his squad to defend a point in the forest for another squad to safely move a logi into the area and place a hab. But without him telling his squad and only saying to hold here, you as a player wonder why the hell you're just sitting in a forest waiting for nothing. And so a lot of players just push out and towards the objective.
All of you, get your asses down here now! Attention!
Oh, why do I always get the pussy?
Female house cat.
They're wasting my true potential here. I'm calling the admins. Admin, my squad leader is being dumb.
Disobedience, huh? That's a mistake.
Giving them a mission means that if your execution plan goes bottom up, your squad can act independently and take away the burden of them constantly asking what you want them to do. Managing a needy squad that is constantly asking what should be done, or a squad that just does whatever because they don't know what to do after exiting the lodgy, can really be frustrating for both parties. Also, assigning missions to your squad gives them the agency to make their own choices and assessments in the field, which may be different to what you thought, because when you set this all up, you were in main and didn't have eyes on. You also build up a relationship with your squad mates. As you trust them to get shit done, this may in turn lead to them trying to impress you and give their best in achieving the mission's goal. This is the ideal situation, and where squad leading really shines. You can take care of getting your squad into the situations they need to be to gain victory for your team. It also gives them guidance and seeing success and accomplishments. As a little side note, do not be afraid to praise someone or thank them for doing something that is tedious. They have zero obligation to follow anything you say. Always keep that in mind.
Hello, is this thing on? Hello, great people. You're all wonderful soldiers. I would just like to thank all of you. You did your best. You did great things. Some would say the very best. Absolutely, little Timmy. I would just like to thank the FTLs for doing such a splendid job. You're getting promoted. You're all getting Teslas. And I would just like to say I love all of you. You did a great job. Thank you. I would just like to say I'd like to come right now if it wasn't for all of you watching me. And even then, I think I'd do it.
Back on track here. Action or execution plan is a thin line of being too detailed and failing, or being too short and vague and thus becoming useless and confusing. Here you should formulate actionable things you want your squad to do. Defending a point is vague. How do we get there? Which direction should I defend against? Are all questions your squaddies may have. But with the action plan / execution plan, you can optimize your squad's potential and have simultaneous issues addressed. So, for example, you can have 2 fire teams have 2 different approaches to a mission. As a defense example, you can have Bravo defend the point proper and sit inside buildings, while Charlie roams around the outer perimeter to catch flanking enemies and potentially deny them dropping a sneaky hab in your back lines. Both fire teams are actively achieving the goal of defending the point, but in different approaches, and this is where your action plan should focus on. Small can not only make you understand and play the game better, but also potentially increase the cohesion within your squad and getting randoms to follow your orders. Also, just voicing SMEx out loud can lead to you being perceived as competent. But please, for the love of God, don't go overboard. Keep it casual and short. Let's get into some examples here. I will not be covering the execution plan, as these can be so numerous that this video would turn into a 2-hour-long manifesto. I did cover some examples prior in the video. If you have questions, ask them in the comments section. Let's look at our team situation here. We're about 38 minutes into the round here. Situation. We have 1 hab out of place straight in front of main. It blocks possible future radios near crash site and serves no purpose here. Too far away from anything important, so dig this radio up at your next convenience and save 25 tickets. We have a single radio that is functioning as a defense and also assault hub. The assault hub, though, is being proxied. We have no one on defense at Mullerman whatsoever. All of our armor is sitting at main. Our attack is currently not capturing compound. Enemies are pushing from west onto the defense and also onto our only viable radio. Enemy armor is north and is controlling the open space. What are our options here, based on the given intel we see on the map? Here are my 4 issues I see in our current situation, and how I personally would address them as a possible mission. Mission 1. We could establish a fallback radio and hab around refugee camp, in case both our defense and our only radio should fall. Mission 2. We could establish a new angle of attack via radio to the south or east. The enemy will most likely be focusing on attacking Mullerman and our radio. Enemies on compound are most likely dealing with the attack from north and west, and therefore won't be looking south or east. Combine that with the armor being north, a southern approach seems the most viable. Mission 3. Get on defense and possibly send a fire team of LA and or HA to ambush enemy armor north. Mission 4. Finding the enemy spawn west. Due to the high amount of markers being placed, it's reasonable they have a radio somewhere west. Now, not all of these options are equally viable though, so let's rate them according to priority and why. Lowest. Attacking. Enemies are close to our defense and only radio. Establishing a sustainable assault with a radio will possibly take too long. Before that, expect to be potentially steamrolled by then. Medium. Getting on defense is a short-term solution, as the enemy will possibly overrun the radio, and defending without a spawn becomes unsustainable. The best option is a combination of establishing a fallback hab and finding the enemy spawn west. This will allow for a backup if everything fails. You can prepare for the next defense, and your new radio is possibly unknown to the enemy. By taking away the enemy spawn, you can get into the position to retake your lost point and push forward from there, maybe even catching the enemy off guard if they have equally few radios. This is about 5 minutes later. Let's look at what happened and how the current situation is. We still have a useless hab in front of main. We were able to establish a new defense/offensive radio, but currently a majority of the team is lost in space and nowhere near to any objective. Our defense has failed, or is failing, on Muala Min currently, and the enemy is capping the point. We still have no friendly armor in play. Our attack failed to take compound. The enemy assault from the west is still ongoing, and we have no information on where their radio is. Armor still owns the north. During the failed attack, we did, however, find their hab from which they were spawning on, which currently is being protected by armor. As a short training, you should pause the video and establish a list of possible missions for your squad in your head. If you found one you like and think solves the most urgent issue, try formulating an execution or action plan on how you would achieve your mission's goal. On to the next one. This one is 19 minutes into the game and will focus on why said information is vital in squad. Situation. We have no intel on the enemy, only faded markers which are most likely out of date. Our commander is also currently out of play and in bumfuck nowhere Egypt. We have one defense radio and 2 offensive radios, one of which has yet to establish a hab/spawn point. Defense is also looking sketchy, as our team is not actually defending, but rather sitting in a forest nearby. On the upside, we do have a tank moving in to assist where needed, possibly. Currently we have an ongoing attack for Akeem. Mission. This is where it gets tricky. Ideally we want to make informed decisions on what to do and where to go. We don't have anything here, nevertheless, here are 4 possible missions. Mission 1. Gain intel, and while doing that, set up possible ambushes. Reading the map, we can see the points have been going in a south to north line. We're coming from the south, and further north the map ends. So enemy movement is to be expected mainly from the west, with some chances of them coming in the north. South is somewhat covered by other squads there, so it's unlikely they'll be coming in from that direction. East we have the map border, so that has the lowest likelihood of enemy advancements. So ambushes and recon missions should be mainly focused on west and north, to possibly spot the next point or troop movements or radios. Mission 2. Get the hab built up on the second assault radio, or if contested by the time we get there, take down our own radio to save the 25 tickets. Mission 3. Support defense and bolster the numbers and actually get on the point or set up a perimeter around the point. We could also possibly strengthen the defense by establishing a second radio in the forest to the east. Mission 4. Assist the assault on Akeem by establishing a rally south of Akeem to have a new revenue of approach and encircle Akeem from all directions. Southwest has good coverage, but this is where most likely enemy reinforcements will be coming in from, and thus burning your rally and stopping your assault. But you could be buying time for your team, so they may set up defense on Akeem while you slow down the enemy. Let's look how the situation has changed after about 9 minutes. Still almost no intel on enemy troop movements, radios or vehicles. Command called in a drone, but is not on the hab, so you can't expect any command strikes or eye in the sky. The radios are still standing, no new one has been placed though. Our attack was successful on Akeem and is being captured, seemingly with no current resistance, as no markers have been placed. Defense though was almost captured by the enemy, but has been stabilized and is being recaptured. Friendly tank is providing overwatch on Akeem. The only markers we have are mostly faded markers, but one is fresh and the driver of the transport is down, so there are still enemy troops south of Butchers. Looking at the arrow markers, it's likely that they have a radio south of Butchers. Once again, you should attempt to formulate your own missions and possible execution plans in your head on what you would do now. Granted, this scene is very open and you don't clearly make an informed decision, but there will be times like these where you don't have a lot of information to make a good decision. This is where experience comes into play. The more you start doing SMEx in your head, the more you start to see tendency in enemy behavior and learn how to counter that. Trust me when I say that 70% of squad leads just go down a very predictable list of things to do and just keep repeating that. Yesterday they saw a radio being placed somewhere, so they just go there and drop one there too. Anyway, this conducts my first part to the SL guide. I hope you were able to learn or pick up some things. Remember, there never truly is a right way, only effective and informed decisions versus uninformed and ineffective decisions. Keep trying and learn what works best for you. My last advice before I go is the following. When you squad lead, don't take the back seat, but be focused and concentrate on leading your squad. This should be straining to do, so take regular breaks from SLing. I've occasionally found myself just shutting my brain off while I was squad leading, and it was a bad time for everyone. Don't be that SL that couldn't care less about what's happening. Focus and try to have fun. Don't push yourself too hard. Shit goes sideways a lot. No need to get frustrated over it. And if you have a potential headache over squaddy, just kick him. He can be an arsehat somewhere else. That's it. Cryofan signing off.